Good morning. How are we today? I hope you guys are good. I am brilliant. It's another wonderful morning. I'm happy to be here. I'm hoping that you two are very well and that all is good with you as it has been with us. We are grateful to the Lord for another day. We will rejoice in it. We'll be glad in it. We will appreciate and thank God for the gift of life itself. We are even more proud. Personally, I'm very humbled and proud to even call this the present. You know what I mean? It's a gift from the Lord, and the fact that you're able to be in it is called the present. So we get this present from God to be here another day. And so once again, the Mentorship Academy platform is here to be a blessing. We offer these sessions every single day, Monday to Friday. Mondays we have myself. Tuesday we have Dr. Sunshine Sylvia. She's on the call. She does her mindset change program. Wednesdays we have the open market, and this time it's been run by the mompreneur herself, and she is actually bringing her colleagues and different people. So if you feel you have you're a lady and you have a product or service that you're running with, we're not really interested in your product or service. We're interested in your story. You can get in touch. You can reach out to Salome. She will be more than happy to schedule and see what can be done. Get in touch with her. Then also on Thursdays we have Dr. Nelly running through with her very powerful and profound platform, Prosperity for Your Soul. And then Friday we're working on a health platform which should be launching soon. Dr. Sunshine's been the one running with that, so we're waiting to just hear what comes of it. But meantime, I'm here every Monday, and then on top of that, I am running 2 cohorts now. Very exciting. The first one is the Unleashing Your Destiny. I've been running with Unleashing Your Destiny for the last 2 cohorts now. I'm just winding up the second cohort. We're going into the third cohort. In fact, if you're one of those that is interested in becoming part of the free 3-hour mentorship I'll offer on Friday, you want to get in touch. You want to take notes, you want to put your name down, and then on Friday we should be able to send you a message where you can join us on a live link. We're doing the closing of the cohort itself. So we do cohort number 2. We're closing with the last class. We always open that class up for you to sample exactly what the class feels like. It's running from 19 hours to 22 hours, which is 7 p.m. in the evening to 10 p.m. Central African time. That's UCT +2 or CAT +2, whichever you want to use. So we're going to be running that on Friday, so it'll be very exciting. So anybody who wants to be a part of it, you will be seeing details. I'll start posting details from as early as tomorrow right through to Friday, inviting all the different people that want to be part of it. We offer these coaching classes that run for 17 weeks. In the 17 weeks, I offer 3 hours weekly. So Fridays from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. or 19 to 22, we do the 3 hours. Very intense, very powerful. Unleashing Your Destiny basically gives you 2 very profound documents for your life. The first one is the life plan blueprint. Do you have a blueprint for your life? If you don't, this is the platform where you get it from. Of course, these things come at a fee, so we have links that we share so you get to know. But it's a free session on Friday. Things to consider before starting a business. Very loaded. You will see for yourself. And then at the same time, I also run a second class, which is far more elite, far more concentrated, and tends to be good for people that are already established and doing quite a bit and looking to just tweak those little small hinges that swing the huge doors. And so we have what is called the Neuro Leadership class. Now, the Neuro Leadership class is a class that is focused on human behavior engineering, cognitive enhancement, neuro-linguistic programming, and all aspects relating to how best to get the best out of you, how to get you performing at optimal level, how to get you to manage and change the organizational culture of wherever you are. So that's the one we do. I will run that. I've been running that, and the cohort's almost, well, it's not almost done, but we'll be finished sometime in June. and the cohorts is going to be running again mid-June, just like the other cohort for Unleashing Your Destiny. So that will also become available. You should be able to see and sample it as well. So I will be sharing something where you can actually get a chance to go and sample yourself and get an idea of what that class is. So if you want to be part of it, you will get details about it. So meantime, we will be offering that on Friday. So if you're interested, I will post something about it, and you can then get yourself registered for it. So meantime, let's jump on to today's lesson. We are on Developing a Strong Brand, episode 7, and we're looking at a number of things. So let's see if we can jump straight into that. So today I want to focus on collecting and showcasing testimonials. All right, so a lot of you don't realize how powerful social proofing is. Social proofing is the reason why so many people will actually jump onto a product or service. In fact, social proofing is the idea behind what the Bible calls testimonies. So when somebody testifies, it has a very profound effect on people looking, especially if the person testifying is considered, what's the word? Someone of influence or repute by the individual that's listening. So when somebody stands up and says, hey, listen, I used to be like this and I used to be like that, and then the Lord did something and now here I am. You know what I mean? That's basically what a testimony is. And many times just telling your own story is enough to get a number of people persuaded to take on what you're doing. Now, this in marketing lingo is called social proofing. In infomercials, I'm sure you would see it. You would see the infomercials these days. They're not so easy to see unless maybe you're on DSTV or something. But usually what would happen is a lot of channels back in the day, especially in the developed world, after a certain point in the night, they would start bringing what they called advertorials. And there were some lethal advertorials that were so good that you would end up buying stuff. Like, you buy the super chopper, whatever, 32 different functions, or you'd be buying the pots which do this, and you buy the stove that does that, and you do this and you do that. I think some of you even remember George Foreman. He had a deep fryer slash toaster slash steak maker thing. And these things would move for millions of units. The method was very effective. Why? Because it would be especially made infomercial. So you have the story about the product, then you have the testimonies, and the testimonies are powerful. I used to be like this, and I was suffering like that, and then I took this product, or I then used this thing, or I jumped onto the diet, and it helped me, and here I am today. And that model works. So if you are a brand person, you want to gather testimonials. Now, you'll notice that, platforms like LinkedIn has a very powerful way in which you can seek recommendations. So make sure you get those. You actually actively go ask all your professional colleagues, friends, clients, mentors, anybody that would be comfortable with talking about what you've done and what you're all about. Go see them, phone them, whatever, ask them for a recommendation. You'll be amazed how many people would agree to do a recommendation for you. And what those do is they add, clout to who you are, especially on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn gets to show you who's giving the recommendation, what their position is, and what you will notice is that with such, it really gives you credibility. So whatever field you're in, make sure you get these recommendations. So don't just leave them to your CV, which is what a lot of people tend to do. Just leave it on their CV. Display it on your platforms, on your website, wherever. So, for example, I run the the neuropsychology class. And so what I've done with that class is I've got testimonials. I've put them up on my page, and every time people finish the class, I ask them for testimonials and I put them up. And what I discovered, oh wow, so this is real. Yes, it is real. So for example, when we're done with this class, I will share the neuro leadership class page, and you will be able to see the testimonials there. I have quite a number, so over the years I'm going to be collecting more, but on my LinkedIn I do have testimonials. I haven't recently really bothered asking for more. since the brand has gone very strong. But when you're starting and running these things, you want to gather these testimonials from colleagues, clients, and mentors, and make sure they are prominently displayed on your socials. And I would recommend anybody who's really worth their clout should have a website. Why? Because your website becomes the hub that collects from all the socials. Because believe me when I tell you that not everybody is on Facebook, not everybody's on YouTube, not everybody's on X, not everybody's on LinkedIn, not everybody's on Instagram and other such social platforms. So you have to realize that there has to be a central place. And another thing I always tell people is, if you don't have lists, you're insane. So even though you are collecting and showcasing testimonials, you want a list. If I had a way to open my computer right now and share my screen, I could show you I have lists numbering almost 10,000. I have 10,000 people. I can reach 10,000 people right now. Now, of course, that's nothing compared to my online social media platform, Facebook, where I have over 200,000 followers. But the truth is that, look at that, from 200,000, I only have 10,000 people. So that means I only have 5% of my list. But, well, at least I have 500. I have 5%. What about you? How many people could you honestly say you have right now, which, if something went wrong, if they switched off your Facebook because they consider your content not good, they just switch you off, because they do that all the time. Or you get hacked, because a lot of people do get hacked. I mean, recently the Radical Entrepreneur lost his entire page, had to start from one because somebody hacked his page. This is very common, by the way, being hacked and whatever. So you find that you've got these, I don't know, 50,000 followers, 20,000 followers, and then all of a sudden you have nobody. And it's a really stressful. I've seen what happens when we lose our socials. All of us actually go into some catatonic state of panic when we lose access to our socials, because now we're no longer able to reach the people we're reaching regularly. But one thing I have tried to do very consistently is to collect names, collect details of individuals, collect data, so that with those names, and what am I really looking to collect there? The name, the email, the phone number, and the WhatsApp line. And it's been a real helper, because then I am able to reach these people and directly engage with them beyond just the platform. So this is why it's so important that you collect and showcase your testimonials, display them prominently on your socials, especially LinkedIn. And LinkedIn already has a facility on it that allows you to ask for testimonials. You'll be amazed. And this is why I'm saying having a list really helps, because if you then can email those people and say, please, I would like you to just write a testimonial about me, A, B, C, D, F, G. Do you mind doing that? Please go to this link and share. People will do that, and they'll go and share. And the beauty about that is that then you can now use that. If you're one of those running the services where you need a review, that also helps. On Facebook, you can ask for reviews. I switch off mine because the stuff I do is quite controversial, and I definitely don't appeal to everybody. So for the kind of work I do, I don't have a review page on my, I've switched off the review section on my Facebook. But on LinkedIn I have, because LinkedIn has a different type of people over there. It's just a different group from what you get on Facebook. So again, you gotta work it out. But on Facebook, on pages, you do have a section where people can put reviews about your product, your service, your brand, yourself as a person, whatever it is that you're representing on your page. You can do that, and it'll make a very big difference when it comes to the impact you have when it comes to that. Now, we continue on the branding. And here now I talk about consistent branding. Okay, so what does that mean? That means you want to maintain a consistent brand image across the platforms. So for example, if you look right now on your top, where is this? Left hand side of the screen, that side, you see, right there. You see that there? That's my brand. That's the Prosperity Insights logo. So you'll notice that the Prosperity Insights logo consistently has certain colors. And so in our space, we talk about Pantones. Pantone is a particular code or a hex code that is used to determine the color of your brand. So when you people go, for example, when you're starting, a lot of times, I mean, you don't know these things, so you just go to somebody at at a cafe or something and ask them, oh, please, can you create a brand for me? So there's sometimes they do, and they'll charge you some money, but you don't bother much with the color code, the hex code, the actual image itself and things like that. So it's very important to kind of get that in place. If you're a bit more familiar with apps, there is platforms like Canva. Canva is very powerful, and they do have a really loaded free section. Okay, Canva is for amateurs, and then professionals obviously do Photoshop, they do CorelDRAW, and use such complex, complex, what are they called? Apps on their computers. But not everybody is a CorelDRAW and Photoshop expert like us. We're not. So you can actually go to Canva, and Canva does the same, but in a much easier way. So you can create quite a bit on Canva. And if you pay, in fact, if you're lucky enough and you understand these things, you could go for their 30-day trial. And then in that period, quickly create your logo, create your brand colors and everything. Then by the time they get you now to start paying, which is about, I think, $20 a month, then it's 28, I don't know, $30. But by the time they ask you to do that, in your 30 days, you've made all the stuff you need to make. And then you just kind of keep that as a catalog on the platform, and then, run with that. And if ever again you find yourself with need, I think after 6 months or 9 months, they then offer again, for you to take another 30-day trial. So you could do that as well. Alternatively, you could have another email address and go and get a free trial again. Not nice, but that's a simple way to kind of work around how, pretty costly these things can be. If you know how to use Canva. But Canva is really easy because it's drag and drop. It's very intuitive. The what you call it, the interface is very easy, even for the least trained individual to do something. Of course, the funny part is that when somebody's not used to graphics or doesn't do them very well, it tends to show. When you do the work, everybody will be like, this is amateur night at the Apollo, absolute horrendous stuff. So be a bit careful, don't be a cheapskate, because remember, if you don't pay for expert work, it shows. So I would be, personally, if I want to create an impressionable logo and things like that for my business and for what I do, I would rather go for a professional. So if you see the logo for the Prosperity Insights there, that was professionally created on professional platforms, and then all our branding has been created by professionals. So that way you avoid having the cheap look, because you don't really want the cheap look, because there is that dodgy cheap look, unless you're okay, I won't say it, not on this platform. So just try and make sure you do it right. So use a professional. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot about that. Photos as well. I know we've got funky phones that can do wonders, especially if you've got an iPhone, 15 Pro Max or something, or S23 Samsung or whatever. Yeah, they do really good jobs. But I'm still stressing on this. Go for professional pictures, please. Don't be a cheapskate. Just go and pay. There are many good professional photographers today who do phenomenal work. They will do some nice photos for you that they can then touch up and give it the whole professional look. That's very important, because when you share those photos, you look serious. People start taking you seriously. You look better on those photos. Don't take those to my funny photos. You're like, you know what I mean? Just don't do those. And then that's what you want to make your professional. No, go get a proper photo where you have an expert there. They do a nice picture, nice angle, nice goals, looking sharp. That's what you want to put up as your profile picture, because it speaks 1,000 words. So if you want to convey professionalism, for example, have a tie and suit on and dress appropriately. Same goes with the ladies. You dress appropriately according to your field. So of course, if you're a musician, musicians are different. They can be more flashy. But if you are a professional, offering, for example, consultancy like I do, you really want to make sure that the photos that you're putting up on your profile are professional photos. You really don't want, one of those funny photos on the weekend with shorts, and nothing wrong with shorts, but I'm just saying you want to look professional. So make sure you get proper pictures with a professional, and it shows. That's what you want to use. Your bio, that's another one. A lot of people don't really know how to distinguish between a bio and a profile. And so they tend to have pretty crappy bios. Remember, a bio should be short, brief, and to the point. If possible, the lesser words, the better. But ideally not more than 50 words. It's called a bio. It's not a profile. They're different. So your bio should be 50 words tops, and it should really carry, the clout that it's supposed to carry. Let me use my own example if I can get to it, because sometimes these gadgets just choose to be funny, and you're trying to check something, and you're trying to go somewhere, and you die trying, and in the end you're just like, I forget it. But let me see if I can get to a bio and then show you what mine looks like, because this one will help you get an idea of what's involved. But essentially, as I'm looking for that bio, what is most important is that you do it in such a way that it's brief and concise. I wish I had Dr. Mwambazi's book here. I would have showed you. But I do that all the time. I create these brief and powerful bios. Let me use Dr. Mwamba, because maybe if I use mine, it'll be too obvious. So I was just working on something for him recently. There it is. And I did put up a bio for him, because he had a summary, but I just wanted to do a bio. So I kind of condensed his profile into a bio. And when it's done right, it really sounds good. Okay, my computer is misbehaving today. It really is in the mood for misbehaving. So let me just see if I can get that. But again, the idea, like I keep saying, bios are brief and to the point and very easy to read in a short time. And what those do for you is they help to bring about a much more professional looking, professional sounding feel to what you're trying to do, compared to, writing lengthy. Look, if you are going to be introduced for some award, I can understand the lengthy explanations. But if you want to share something, you want to make it brief. So here is Dr. Mwambazi's bio as I wrote it. So it says, statesman, former vice president, electoral observer mission leader, international preacher, charismatic movement pioneer, founder of Victory Ministries, television ministry pioneer, and family man. That's it. That's a bio. See that? Brief, powerful. So obviously, if you want now the profile, then you can get into the whole profile. You've done this, you're the owner of that, and these are the things you accumulated, recipient of that, did this, did that, worked at that place, companies that you've served, this one. You get it? That's a profile. But for a bio, it's brief. And why are bios powerful? Because then they embody who you are in a short, brief way that anybody can follow. So make sure you work on writing proper bios for yourself. It will pay off. And then the other aspect also, when you're messaging people, these color brands, this brand or whatever it is you've created must remain consistent. Letterhead should look the same, logo should look the same, whatever it is. All these components of what forms your profile should remain the same, and that way it makes it very easy for you to really make an impression. So anyway, I am going to be ending there. Next week we will get into monitoring your online reputation and some more other things. In fact, we'll be looking at that, looking at evaluating and adjusting and giving back. So these are some of the extra bits. But in closing, I want to emphasize that if you really want to make a big mark, you got to remain consistent with your brand. And that means, this is why, if you noticed in this series, we started off with what? A proper value proposition. You got to decide what you're going to be about. You got to decide which audience you're going to be addressing. And you kind of want to stick to that, including the messaging itself. You got to decide these things. And when you do decide these things, you must be willing to pay the price for them, which means some of the stuff I'm talking about, being consistent, whatever, but also standing for who you think you believe, or what you think you believe in, and being willing to pay a price for that, which means if you have to lose something, lose something. If you have to suffer some defeat, suffer some defeat. If it means being blocked or being attacked, fine. But the point is, be willing to pay a price for what you believe in, because there'll always be somebody with some there'll always be a naysayer. I always find it amazing that people that I admire immensely, like what's his name, Vosita Bekwayo, and my good young leader Dumisani, among many. I actually get amazed when you go deep into some of the comments and you see how much people have negative things to say. So you realize it doesn't matter what you do. And Dumisani is one of the most, how can I put it, non-confrontation people I know. He doesn't really, he tries his best not to rock the boat. He really tries just to be kind of, you know, just tries to be straight and simple. But even in that trying to be straight and simple, people still find something to attack. So you start to realize that people will always have an issue. Because for people like me, I understand, I deal with very touchy subjects. I'm very strong-minded about and strong-positioned about certain things. I'm very resolute about what I stand for. That's definitely going to cause a lot of, you know, I'm going to rustle a lot of feathers and people will be upset with me. That I can understand. So for me getting flack, I'm used. But a person like Dumisani, I'm like, why would they attack Dumisani? Come on, there's a straightforward guy. Or a great guy like Vusit and Bikwayo. And recently I've been very amused at the amount of hate that a person like Jito Kayumba gets. Jito, I think, is a very positive guy, and I think he does phenomenal videos just explaining what's going on. But you should see the amount of hate he gets. So you start to realize that people are always going to have something negative to say. So don't you get so worked up, because if you do, believe me, you will never stand for anything. If you can't stand for anything, you will fall for it. If you can't stand for something, you will fall for anything. That's the key. And the court of public opinion will mold you into a caricature that is unrecognizable. Even you won't recognize yourself. So don't allow people and individuals and forces to kind of guide you and push you because they think this is not who you are, this is what you should be. That's because everybody has an opinion about who they think you should be. So be consistent in your brand. Be consistent on what you represent. That's why I'm big when I take people through our courses. I'm big on value proposition. Let's get your values. Let's understand what you stand for. And then what's your mission? Because once you understand these two things, then you will put them out there and now you know who you are. So even when people come and start trying to push you somewhere else, I mean, the only people who have a right to speak to you, I think, are your mentors. People who you've put up in a way to kind of talk into your life, yes. But anybody else, I don't think they have the right to speak into your life. So anyway, that's what our session was for today. Looking forward, tomorrow Doc will be here with her usual program, which is Mindset Change program. But today I'm done. Next week we pick it up and I am dealing with monitoring your online reputation. This is a very important subject. Those of you interested on Friday, being part of the big class that we close on Unleashing Your Destiny, I will be sharing some details throughout the week on how you can access that class. Take care of yourself and God bless.